Everybody knows what the church is supposed to stand for. It should be a place where everyone or anybody can go, where there will be like-minded people, where we can find support, love and guidance. It should be a place where people are waiting with open arms and handshakes, welcoming newcomers, making them feel at home and comfortable and welcome and completely at ease. But you decided churches are not for you. You would rather worship alone. You know, as a chosen one, that you have discernment. Chosen ones have a very heightened level of sensitivity. We know when we go into some church buildings, something isn't right. We can feel it, and we can see it in people's eyes. That's why Satan is wary of the chosen one, because he knows that we can see when a goat is pretending to be a sheep. Why have churches become so disappointing? Can somebody tell me? It makes me quite mad when I think about it, how it is right now in the churches. Some people call it organized religion, but for me, it's all about my Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christ. I don't want any man organizing my religion. Forget your denominations and your traditions. That is false, because it was never preached by the apostles or Jesus himself. In the churches nowadays, it's so sad. It really makes me feel like, what hope do we have of bringing in new Christians to know Jesus Christ if we can't even stop the church politics and the play acting, the undercover stuff? But don't worry, it's okay, because God can see everything what's going on. Instead of warm welcomes, we have cold stares and scrutinizing looks and whispering comments. No wonder people feel like the church is a private members club. I've been to so many in my lifetime, and they're all the same. Most of them. The vibe of the modern church, it's very, very disappointing. Something's gone wrong. It's one of the privileged members who sit next to each other. They talk to each other, little pockets, in little groups, and they rarely venture out of their cliques. Usually, they are long-term members who make newcomers feel intimidated. No wonder these new members never come back, because these long-term members, sometimes on the board of directors, like a company, are very intimidating people. But I'm here to tell you that they have no power outside of the church doors. They may feel that they're important, but they gave themselves the title of being self-important. Please come off your high horse and humble yourself. You're acting like Pharisees. New members want to feel warmth and friendship. We shouldn't have to feel like we fit in to something. fit into what? Into your club? So we can worship Jesus the way you want us to in your club. Is that what you want? It feels like being back at school. The way people behave in church, it's not of love and acceptance, it's something different. It's very sad. And that is why so many people have left the churches. That is why the churches are becoming apartment blocks. This is not the way that Jesus taught us to be. This is not walking in the truth. We have lost our way. What we have now is not real. It's not gratifying. It's not spiritual. It's not acceptance. It's something else. I want to tell you elders of the church, you long-term members, some of you, you need to remember that you're not as important as you think. You have no status and you have no authority. You was never promoted by Jesus. You gave yourself a false promotion. Let go of your selfish ways and don't look down on people, because you are hurting the new believers. You're driving them away. People are expecting something totally different than what you are offering. This is why people are not bothering going to church or staying at home and praying and worshipping in private themselves, because they feel so disappointed with the way the church is gone. In the world right now, in the world that we live in today, we're trying to modernize Christianity to something that we feel is okay and acceptable. But the Word of God should not be modernized. It shouldn't be changed at all. Some of these people, some of these leaders, have no idea what they're doing. Bits and pieces will not do. It must be all or nothing. The full commitment to welcoming newcomers, or nothing, don't bother. There is a very empty feeling in a lot of people who attend church. They're hoping for something special to happen, but often they feel disappointed when they go home. They will say to themselves, is this it? Why did I bother coming today? I should have just stayed at home. I was looking for something, but I didn't find it. That's because church leaders are half-hearted. They shouldn't even be in the job, some of them, that they're getting paid to do, the full-time clergy. They lack something, and I don't know what it is. The result is that people, the new members who are looking for spiritual guidance, they never find it. They never find it. All they found was strange stares and unwelcome attitudes. I honestly think that many churches don't actually want new members. They like everything to stay as it is. They like it the way it is. Keep the status quo. Everybody is comfortable with everybody already in the church, and that's the way they want it to stay. They don't actually want new people. Outwardly, they might say, new members welcome. There'll be a big sign outside of the church saying, new members welcome. But the truth is, they're not. Because if they was, why are today's churches experiencing such a large number of people falling away? God can see what's going on. God knows the hearts of the elders, the pastors, and the leaders. That's why he's recruiting new people. The people that hear his voice and love him. The people who are prepared to roll up their sleeves and do what is necessary for God's purposes. They accept their calling to reach out in different ways to be fishers of men, because the present system is failing and it's not acceptable. God is looking for new men and women to go out there as individuals or groups to reach out to lost souls and bring them to the true living God without the politics and the games of acceptance and the play acting. Because people are corrupt. That's the nature of man. We are supposed to be people who worship God in spirit and in truth as part of the church. So that means that we have to step out of our special seat in the church and roll up our sleeves and put away those barriers that want to exclude the lost people, the isolated people, and the hurting people. Instead of being a place that wants everyone to fit in to what is already there, that's not my idea of a church. The church can only survive as a building, as an institution, if it is genuine, if it is truly serious about welcoming new members. That's how it will survive. You don't request new members or persuade them to put money in the offering bowl. That seems to be the primary focus, the offering bowl, and it's wrong for the church. It's absolutely wrong. Whether the offering bowl is full or empty, it's not a precondition that you will make it to heaven. It doesn't matter if you give something or nothing. That's not a precondition of your salvation. There's too much focus on money in the church. If church leaders didn't go on about it so much, they'd be surprised that more people would give tithes and offerings a lot more. If it's God's will that your church survives, then it will survive. The church building is not God, and the church elders, the long-term members, have no power and no authority to intimidate or control others, even though they think they're so important. New members and new people who have just started to attend the church and just started to ask questions and are hoping that they can find a really good church to go to, a meaningful church that will give them a good relationship with Jesus. That is what new members are looking for. But in many cases, they'll be coming up against a glass door. They'll be able to see inside of the door, inside of the building, but there is a barrier that's blocking their true acceptance. People are being awkward in the church, their real acceptance into the fold. Unless the people in authority in the church want to be fully committed to actively bringing in new members and retaining new members, they shouldn't bother. They should resign their post, because the real church is needed now more than ever in this season, because these are the last days and this is the beginning of sorrows, and things are going to get a lot worse. And this is why we need a real church. Somebody has to say this. If the church is to be real in this generation, it has to change the stuffy atmosphere that feels like a private members club. The church has to embody the same love and acceptance that Jesus taught 2,000 years ago, accepting everybody from the tax collector to the fisherman. That means that the long-term members have to get up out of their comfortable seats and do a bit of work to actively welcome the new members and make sure they act as though they mean it. The breaking down of barriers needs to happen, because people are not stupid. Somebody going into the church for the first time, for the first week, maybe they'll come outside and they'll say to themselves, that didn't feel right. Anyone with any discernment can feel what's going on. It's got nothing to do with the colour of your skin, black or white, nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's what you call an old boys network mentality. Well, I was here before you, so I don't need to bother. That's the attitude. The church has to be a place where people feel that they can belong. They can feel the love of God. They shouldn't be looking over their shoulders, wondering if they fit into the clique. That's not Christianity, my friends. No way. If you want to worship God, you shouldn't depend on someone's perception of who you are. Maybe this might offend some people. It's not meant to offend anybody. But the evidence is there. The truth is there. We can see it. And people are falling away from the church, and something needs to happen. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would appreciate it. I just feel like, for these reasons, people are falling away from the modern day churches. And it's been happening for a long time. And things need to change. I'm sure you'll agree. This is why people have said, I'm done with the church. I'm not going back. I'll worship on my own, because of all the politics and the play acting that goes on. So take care, my friends. Until next time, peace and blessings to you. And shalom. Shalom. Thank you and good night. It's getting dark. God bless.